Hello and welcome back to Space Engineers. In today's video, we're looking at another speeder, but this one is much bigger than the previous speeders I've showcased on this channel recently, and it's called the Viking Exploration Speeder Mark 1, which is this lovely thing that I'm currently driving. So this thing looks, well, very familiar to me. I have a feeling I could have done a showcase on this a long time ago, but I could not find anything on my actual channel search, so do excuse this if this is a repeat. This is a small block ship that features two seats that can both control everything about the ship. We've got Gatling guns, we've got autocannon custom turrets, we've got atmospheric and hydrogen thrusters, and renewable power in the form of solar panels you can see angled at the back there by some hinges. Now this overall ship design feels very much like it should be able to split apart into multiple pieces due to the way it looks when we look straight down at it. There it is. So as you can see, we've got our two seats on both sides, where I'm sitting on one. We're only connected up by a couple steel blocks and conveyors. So it seems like you could, if you really wanted to, refit all this out for merge blocks and say connectors, and have it as an actual splitting apart ship, so if one side gets damaged, you can just drop off, jettison it out, and drive away on the other half. I think what I'll do is a quick demonstration to actually show how I think this would work, and of course how it can function, because it can still fly, at least in low gravity without the rest of the ship. We won't be able to slow it down in one direction, so it's quite similar to the previous speed that I showcased on Monday. So hopping out of here and just disconnecting these steel blocks on the side, and we don't need any of them. I'm just going to go get rid of this connector and the bank. There we are, we're now fully disconnected, hopping back into here, and now pulling it away. So we cannot move left at all, because all those thrusters were handled by the opposite side, but I can move right, and away we go with that. I can move forwards, up, down, and of course backwards, and just scoot away here. I can still utilise the Gatling gun on his side there, and all the other little controls, apart from the stuff that was built into the main body, which would be the survival kit and the custom turret. Anyway, I'm going to hop out of here, go and delete that, pull in a brand new one. In fact, it's a good opportunity for me to go through the F10 menu. Then we'll go around the outside, drive around for a bit, and I think that'll be that. So the Viking Exploration Speeder Mark 1 is 1071 small blocks, using the Sparks of the Future, Heavy Industry, Wasteland, Warfare 2, and Deco Block number 2 DLC packs. We see at the very top it's survival ready, it's safe and printable, which is always great things to have. And then it's got a survival kit, an oxygen generator, a hydrogen engine, ore detector, a radar, and a projector system so we can project the entire ship and repair it up if it ever took damage. Always a very handy thing to have if you don't know what got damaged from a few pot shots coming from an odd turret or an odd drone that snuck up behind you. So we'll go give this thing a thumbs up. I'm now going to copy in a brand new one, just dropping that down like so. And once it spawns in, and I come all the way up to it. There we go. Now I'm going to rotate this all the way around. Bring the free camera all the way up to it, so away from that one, and back over to this one. I'll just come up towards the very front, have a quick look around the outside, like I said, that's the rear of it. And here we are for the front. So for the very front, the Viking Exploration Speeder, this is what we get. So as you can see, we've got three cameras, one on the left, one on the right hand side of the very middle, for your left and right hand side cockpit. Then below that is our custom autocannon turret, which has been fully hinged up, fully rotated up, so we can move it around, but do be aware that it is inverted. So up is down, and down is up. Anyway, to the left and right hand side of that, we then got our main atmospheric thrusters to help slow this thing down, and they've been surrounded by some rusted beam blocks, some added decoration and flair. Then behind that, we see a bunch of white and red steel blocks to make up the rest of the ship. Able to get a bit closer into the middle here before we go around on the side. There we see some more beam blocks come all the way down to our custom turret. There's our two autocannons, and of course our camera. All the way down below it, there's a small container for you to store ammunition inside. There's a bunch of rusted armor panels just covering at the bottom of that, make it look nice and neat. Then behind there is your hinge to actually connect up to the rest of the ship, and of course make sure ammunition can be funneled in from the main body. Pulling away from there, we'll come back to that in just a moment. Around onto the side, here we are, we can see some heat vents for some added decoration, an LCD screen where we come all the way up to it. We didn't see it's the OMS L15 Viking Land Speeder Exploration Vehicle, sorry, it's its full-on name. And then pulling away, we can see a bunch of magnetic plates lining the bottom of that. There's a secondary camera to help for you on the opposite side of the ship. There is our Gatling gun for a bit of manual firepower and how it's been connected up to the rest of the ship. With a spotlight on the side to line up the darkness. Then moving all the way across to there, there is a bunch of atmospheric thrusters to move us around in all directions. Here's two of our solar panels, both angled via hinges, so we can get a nice bit of renewable power out of this if we're on a very sunny planet, like Mars, which is where the ship was intended to be flying on. Of course, around towards the back there, there's a decoy, which has been encased by some barred windows. Round towards the very back of the scene, we've got two connectors, or two large connectors, and our small connector, so we've got plenty of ways to dock this thing up. Below those connectors on the side, we then got some small hydrogen thrusters to boost us around. Down to there is our custom weapon controller for our turret at the front. we just about make out a large atmospheric thruster right below that, with once again some rusted beam blocks. Then all the way up to here past the small connector and looking down. There we are, we see a bunch of rusted white steel blocks, a bunch of battered white steel blocks, a load of batteries on the left and right hand side. Moving all the way across here, a bunch of conveyors linking everything together. There's the top view of our cockpits and how they've got 2 LCD screens telling you important parts about the ship. So just on the left hand side we then got all of our important stuff about our fuel, and of course our artificial horizon. On the right hand side we then got our radar script and a bunch more text which we'll take a look at when we actually go inside the cockpit. There's the gun for the opposite side. Then towards front there's our red, there's our white, there's our spiky parts at the front. Moving all the way down underneath this thing, here we go. So that is all we can see. Once again, some more rusted steel blocks, some more rusted beam blocks just covering up our atmospheric thrusters. Of course, towards the middle there we've already talked about. Over to that part, some more batteries give it some more power, some more small atmospheric thrusters to keep us off the ground. Then towards the back there's our large atmospheric thruster, which will be very useful when we're on the Earth-like planet. And getting a bit closer over to here we go. So on the middle there, a bunch of exhaust blocks, then to the opposite side, the exact same setup. And I think with that, that's that for the outside of the Viking Exploration Speeder. It's also bloody fantastic with how it's all been set up. So now what I'm going to do is grab hold of my character, file this one, and to the opposite side, so we can actually get a good look at those LCD screens. So there's our radar system, and then in green, which is very hard to make out against the white ground, we then got our energy, and of course our hydrogen, and all of that. Looking all the way down, we then see our co-pilot seat. We've got tab 1 for our backup flight controls, tab number 2 for our ship controls, then tab number 3 for our turrets. But we don't need to worry about any of them because we can hop out of this, come into our main cockpit, which has the same controls, and more. So looking all the way down, that's what we get. So we've got our general flights, our support systems, turret, and then our ship repair, which is done via projectors. So coming out of this into third person view, turning it all the way around like so, over to tab number 1, this could be controls for our Gatling guns to fire them both at the same time, so we've got a nice bit of manual firepower. Number 2, number 3 is going for your camera on the left and right hand side of the entire speeder. Coming out of that, number 4, number 5 is for your atmospheric thrusters, when number 4 is going to be for your thrusters at the front of the ship to turn them off, so now if we move forwards, we won't slow down. Turn them back on, we'll come to a stop. Pressing number 5, going to be for the rest of your atmospheric thrusters around the ship. Number 6 is then for your hydrogen thrusters, turn them on and off in case you need that extra boost of speed. And then number 7 is going to be for your batteries to auto recharge, depending on what you want to do. Number 8 is then for the magnetic plates below the ship on the left and right hand side. Then number 9 is for your connectors to lock it and lock it when it comes to docking this thing up. Over to tab number 2, then got our hydrogen engines on and off. 2 is once again for your hydrogen thrusters, but this one's going to change depending on which seat you're sitting in. So if we're sitting on the left hand seat like we are right now, pressing that's now going to turn on and off the thrusters, which are only on the left hand side. Turn it back on, then if we were to hop over to the right hand seat, that'll then be for the right hand thrusters. So we've got a bit of manual control over that, and you can fight with a co-pilot depending on what thrusters you want turned on. Number 3 is then for your spotlights to turn them on and off if you want to do that. Number 5 is once again for your batteries. Number 6 is then for your hydrogen tanks to stockpile on and off. 7 and 8 is once again for your magnetic plates. And then number 9 is once again for your connector, but this time it's to turn it on and off. Over to tab number 3, this is for your custom weapon right in the middle of the ship. So pressing that, we now control our dual autocannon turret. We're now going to start blasting. But yes, once again, this is completely inverted, so left is right, up is down, and down is up. So it gets a bit wonky when controlling it, but after a while, you sort of get used to it. There we are. Over to tab number 4, this is your projector system to project the entire ship, so if any blocks ever took damage for whatever reason, you can now easily find it and repair it up. But we'll go through all of that because it is quite a few tabs, and it is very self-explanatory. So now what I'm going to do is fly around on this lovely icy moon, and we'll see how it handles. So moving forwards, here we go, with the hydrogen thrusters turned on, we've got a nice bit of speed. It's not the fastest thing in the world compared to other ships I've showcased on this channel, but it's certainly fine, just flying around and exploring, and of course scouting out ore patches. Come to a stop, we are about the same as moving forwards, which is to be expected, considering the distribution forwards and backwards, and still is perfectly fine as well, and you shouldn't need to plan ahead when charging along towards your base or station, because the stopping time is pretty decent. Moving left, and moving right, we are excruciatingly slow with that. Compared to forwards and backwards, that's quite a stark contrast in actual maneuverability. Then moving down, and then moving up. Moving up is much faster than moving down, but moving down will be helped by gravity, which on this planet is very low gravity, so we're not going to be stopping anytime soon. Then as for gyroscope controls, moving this thing around, got plenty of control over this. It feels very different compared to the entire ship when we're moving it around. This thing feels very floaty, much like a small fighter, which I suppose is very good if you aren't going to be aiming those Gatling guns, and you want to say precisely track a fast moving target. But as for that, that's pretty much it for the Viking Exploration Speeder. It's just simply a lovely little thing that I do really hope I haven't done a showcase on in the past. Yes, as it stands, it's a fantastic little ship to use in your world in survival mode if you do want to have a fast exploration ship, go out about and scout for ore patches, or even just looking for a nice place to set up a new base. So I think one final thing to do, of course, is to slam this into the ground because I doubt any space pirates will spawn here. In fact, some spawn up there, but they are going to be in space. So yes, we're just going to go straight down into the ground. Here we go. And that'll be that for this video. So we're hiding all the HUD. In about 3, 2, 1. And there we go. Not too much of a crash. Due to the fact we are in low gravity. But anyway, enough of that. There'll be a link to it in the description below if you should download and play around yourself. Highly recommend you do, as well as a link to the Skybox I'm currently using. I'll be back with another video some point soon. Bye bye.